Hello, this is a short video to show you how to install a Phantom Universal mod chip on a Sega Saturn. I actually have two. I've got one I've already basically got it all together because save time in this video, but this is what the current one looks like. Since I have a Model 2 Saturn, it has the JVC drive, which you can tell by the green motherboard. Round motherboard's a different drive, I'm not sure what it was called, and then they make two versions, a 32 pin IC and a 64 pin. This one is a 32 pin, which makes a little bit of a difference. This is the drive I have not, or the chip I have not used yet. You can see it's 21 pin. Like I said, this Saturn uses the 21 pin ribbon. This is the CD21 as the CD side. MB21 is the motherboard side. So CD side goes there, motherboard side goes there. Also on this version of the Saturn, since it is the JVC, you'll see these three pads up here. What I need to do is bridge with solder between the JVC and the center one, which I have it right here. I've already done. My soldering skills aren't exactly the greatest, but there that is. And also you need to supply power to this chip, which you can do from one of two spots. There you go, dropping it. Whichever one's the better for the look at this version. Being this version Model 2, the way that the cables go in, I will be installing this upside down. That's just the way that they go. And I soldered a wire to this little 5-volt pad here, and it is going over to this piece over here, which you take the two screws out of the back to pull it out. And this connector right here, mine is a 4-pin. You flip it over. There are the 1, 2, 3, 4 pins. So the second pin, or the third from the bottom, is what you solder your power wire to. I've already done it on that side. Also already done it on my Phantom drive, Phantom Universal mod chip. Soldered it right there. And it's strange, the instructions I read online said to use Kynar wire or Kynar. I'm not even sure what it is. I've always just used regular electrical wire. This is wrapped in electrical tape, but I found this on eBay, 50-foot spool for $8, I think. It's a really thin 30 AWG single strand wire. It's real flexible. You can do all kinds of stuff with it, but they suggested it, so that's what I'm going to use. So what I'm going to try to do, and bear with me, I'm using my phone with this, so this isn't exactly the best situation, but I'm going to try to install this just to make sure that it actually works, because I haven't even tried this yet. So let's give it a go. Okay, got that down there. Set my screws, get them started for the little power supply back here. Oh, find the right spot. Go on in. Being plastic as always, don't ever over tighten, because you can see whoever had this before me has already broke that part, and I super glued it back together. Let's see here. Alright, that is on there. Now the fun part, getting this mod chip into place, which it's easier for me to do it if I just rotate the Saturn itself around a little bit. Like I said, this one goes in face down. If I can get the light right. Well, you can't really see, it won't focus, but that is the CD side, CD drive, and that is the motherboard side. I'm going to go on and attach the motherboard side, if I can. Alright, that's down in there. And now, CD side, which It's hard to see with my lighting here. As you can tell, I'm not a professional at doing this. All right, I've got that down in there. Beforehand too, as well, I forgot to mention, they said, since it's anything electrical, you don't want metal touching metal, so I just kind of covered up the base that I'm going to be setting it on with electrical tape, just protection. Don't want anything to short out. I'm just going to leave this wire here for now. I'm not going to do anything fancy with it because I just want to make sure that this actually works. So I'm going to try to tuck that down into there. And tuck, if I can, that down into there. Oh, and it pops out. Go figure. That's my kind of luck. Hey, got it kind of set there. I'll secure this later on once I make sure that it actually works. So that will be coming. One other thing, don't forget to hook this board back up. Run the cable back to it. It's plugged in. That's all plugged in. Okay. Got that on there. Now, I'm going to put the lid back on this thing. Like I said before, this is Model 2, which is easy to tell due to the round power and reset buttons. Model 1 has the oval shaped ones, or majority of them. I've read also online that very few of them actually had the round buttons as well. I'm going to put a couple of these back in just so the lid doesn't come up, because I'm hoping that the switch that shows that the lid is closed stays pressed. That way it'll actually play. I'll find out if this thing will work. Hopefully it does. If not, I wasted some money. There's two. I'm just going to put 3 of them in here for now. That should be enough to secure it in place. Okay. Now we have that back together. And I've also got the battery door off, which I left off. You won't really need that to find out if this thing works. I also forgot another screw to mount the board that I soldered the wire to, which I'll get it done later on. Alright, got the cable, audio video plugged in, and the power supply. And I'm actually using an HDMI converter, which is pretty nifty. A friend of mine gave it to me. He got a SCART cable adapter, all that stuff. But I actually like this. It makes the picture quality a lot better on a HD television. Let's see here. Got my power cord wrapped up, unwrap it. Okay. Apologize again for the video quality. I'm not a cinematographer. Okay, got that. For those of you who don't know, the Phantom mod chip is designed so you can play imports and backups of games that you have. I just a few minutes ago burnt a copy of Metal Slug, which is a Japanese only game, and we are about to find out if this mod chip actually works. Power is on. Let's see what we get. game disc unsuitable for this system. Alright, maybe I actually have to still use my action replay. Let's see if that'll work, since it is Japanese. I think we've got a winner. That is the Metal Slug loading screen. Holy cow. Let me get in here just to make sure it's going to work. Yep, there it is. There you have it. I thought this was supposed to make you where you can play backups and imports, non-US versions, which I have. Mine is actually a US Saturn, but apparently you still need something to play the imports. So thankfully I have a Action Replay Plus 4, which has the 4 megs of RAM, which is great because Metal Slug actually requires 4 megs of RAM, I believe, maybe 1, I'm not sure, 1 or 4. But there you have it. Like I said, I skipped some of the steps, but I showed you a before and after to kind of give you an idea. Like I said, with this version of Model 2 JVC, you just got to bridge the left and the center pads there with solder, and then use one of these to solder a wire to it, and run it to that spot I showed you on the board over here to give you supply. So there it is. If this video gets any interest to it, I've got a Model 1 Saturn as well. That's why I bought 2 chips. I will show you how to put one on the Model 1, which is actually easier. You don't have to do the bridge on that. And from what I've read, the Model 1, the way that the ribbon cable comes out of the CD drive and into the motherboard, you can actually mount the chip upwards, which is kind of neat. And it'll put the pads in the right spot because it's closer down here, so you can run it over to that spot over there. Because the Model 2, I had to actually, on this one, flip it over, which put the pads towards the back. So I'll have to figure a way to